Welcome to the National Women's Fitness Academy podcast. We're here to talk about women's health, female hormones, body image, and all things health and fitness.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest episode. I am with Siggy Fisher, who is our podcast host, our other podcast host. And we are going to have a bit of an interesting chat today. We're going to talk a little bit about ourselves so you guys can get to know us. Welcome, Siggy.
Thanks, babe. Glad to be here with you.
I know, we were just chatting before. It's so good to finally talk to you, and we already have so many similarities, like our matching scrunchies and hairstyle.
I know. Right.
It wasn't pre-planned. I love that so much. So I guess you start. You can. I've already fucked it up.
Go with the flow.
Exactly. You start us off. So tell me a little bit about you. So we've had a bit of a talk already. But tell me, I guess, how did you get into the industry? Where did you start in the fitness industry, and what did that look like for you?
Yeah, sick. I love that. God, where do I start? To be honest, my journey has been like this, like rocky road kind of journey. It's been amazing. So I started in the industry from working for a fitness academy, and they were selling the set 3 and 4 personal training certificates. So during that time when I was doing the consulting and the sales, I had to learn that. So I didn't necessarily have the interest in becoming a PT then, but previous to that, I was always into fitness. I was very, the type of girl at high school and uni who would always, do the sports, the swimming, the boxing, whatever, you name it, I did it. But during that time at the PT Academy where I was working, I was learning more about fitness and health. And because I still had this like little spark of fitness inside of me, I was just like, ooh, this is really cool. Like, I want to learn more about this. And once I finished both certificates, I was so passionate about it that I started pursuing other education certificates within that company to learn a little bit more about that. And then from there, I was just like, hey guys, like, thank you so much for this opportunity, but I'm going to go ahead and do personal training. So I started as a group instructor, and I love saying this story because it was like at this little studio and we would do like boxing classes and spin classes. I used to be known for the spin queen. Now, for those who know me now, I don't like cardio. It's not my thing, but back then I was like this cardio girl. So people will be like, hey, Siggy's spin class, let's do it. And used to love it, like 30 people just rocking in, sweating it. Oh my God. Just thinking about this is really funny. So yeah, started a group fitness instructor, and then from there started taking on one-on-one clients. I worked with many people from, men, women, varied ages as well. And as I progressed within that studio, I moved to other studios. Thankfully, because I know a lot of personal trainers have also started from a big box gym, which gives you like a different way of building your business. So I don't know about, like, obviously I'm going to ask you how you started, but yeah, I'm so fortunate that I started off with studios who invested in their education for their PTs, which helped me become, I guess, who I am today, because I'm so invested in educating myself. So yeah, here I am. Like, ended up leaving the studios. I went to Good Life Paran, which is in Melbourne, Australia. I worked there for several years. After that, went to other studios in different areas because I moved houses, and now I'm on online coach. So, again, with the circumstances that we live in right now, we're in lockdown in Melbourne. So thankfully, I can run my business online, but I'm still doing a lot of one-on-one consulting with my coaching, which is awesome.
Yeah, and that's something I love. I've actually been following you for ages. And fun fact, you were a PT at the first gym I ever joined in Melbourne, which was Good Life.
Stop.
Years ago. So I think maybe 4
You're the second girl who said that.
Yeah, really? Yeah. And I remember seeing you and I saw a poster of you and it was, women's strength coaching. And I was like, that's so fucking cool. And that was before I was in the industry. So I followed you. And one thing I really love about you and what you do is you're so, you do so much education and you're so invested in learning and growing. And I think that's really cool. And you can see that you're bringing that into your business and you're adding so much value to your clients. Which I think is something that's not discussed enough, just continuously educating ourselves so we can continuously add more value to our business, which you've done really well.
Thank you. Oh my God, it makes me so happy to know that I have these like little cheerleaders around, especially like Good Life, when you run your own business in a gym. I don't know about yourself, but when I worked at Good Life, it was very much like you just need to stay in your own lane and get your own clients. Like I did have my personal training friends, but I kept my business to myself and their business to theirs. So, as an independent business owner, sometimes, it can be quite, rough and tough, trying to coach other people, manage your own business, wearing different hats all the time. People don't understand that as a fitness coach, it's not just running the 60-minute personal training session for the client. It's the hours behind that. It's the programming, it's the check-ins, or, it's the daily advice. If they message you, you're not going to ignore it. You're there to support them. So it's really important for coaches to understand that the more you invest in yourself, the more your client is going to learn. And that's how you build client retention as well. And that's how they evolve and grow as a client.
Yeah, definitely. How did you find moving away from face-to-face coaching to an online business model? How did you find your enjoyment levels? So as personal trainers, we love working with people. Do you find you enjoy one more than the other? Would you like to implement some more face-to-face stuff when we're able to? Or I guess, how are you enjoying being full-time online at the moment?
So I love it. I love doing my online business right now because I've been able to establish a way that I still get connected with my clients, whether it's through Zoom or it's through messaging or WhatsApp voice memos. There's always some form of connection. Yes, it's not physical. And I know, to be honest, like I do miss it. There is a sense that I miss seeing my clients in person and you're hugging them and you're laughing and having that banter. But I do know that the presence I give my clients online is, is top value for everyone. I enjoy it. And when I know I'm in my element and I give 100%, my clients can sense that energy and they love that back from me. So that transition from personal training to online, it was a slow transition. So I started moving to the online space before all the circumstances happened with COVID. So luckily enough, I was able to, take those micro steps of, moving my long-term face-to-face clients to more online base. They were more independent. They knew how to train on their own. So they didn't need so much per se, attention from me at the time. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, definitely. You can tell there's so many different models you can use as an online coach, and some can be super interactive. And I think, especially right now, it's such a great way for your clients to get, such a high level service when you sort of implement the right models.
Yeah.
Which you do. And I see your clients, getting stronger and your business growing. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. So, on the online space, again, you can think of anything that you want to do as long as it aligns with yourself. Because I remember when I first started, I was copying what other people were doing, but it wasn't really aligning with what I actually wanted to do. And once you find, whatever works for you, you'll be able to monitor that better consistently as well.
Yeah, totally. And make it work for you as well.
Yeah.
so you can help more people, which is one of the best things about being an online coach, right? Just reaching more people and being able to help more people than the time it takes to do that one-on-one coaching.
Yeah, totally. How are you finding the online space at the moment?
Yeah, look, so at the start of 2020, so obviously I had to transition more online. I love face-to-face coaching. So initially I did struggle with that, but I like to do my check-ins via video call.
Yeah.
So, which is just like, I love chatting and seeing my girls and being able to build that relationship. So they'll send me all their lifting videos throughout the week, and then we'll have a once a week catch up where we, jump on FaceTime and we're able to have that conversation. So it's super interactive. And I think if you just implement the right things, you can deliver, an amazing service, be it online or face-to-face, once you sort of figure out what works for you and what works for your clients and your team as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love everything to do. Like, thank God for Zoom. Like,
Totally.
whoever uses like Zoom or like Google Meets or whatever it is, like, even though, yes, you're not there physically with them, you can still sense someone's, smiling or like laughing and reaction by seeing them in video. And I love that.
Yeah, exactly. So what's next for you?
What's next for me? Well, at the moment I'm just not just, but like I'm establishing my business from just doing one-on-one to more other areas of coaching. So it's in the works. I'm not going to give it away just yet. But once it's out there, it's going to be fucking amazing. I'm just going to have more time and availability to cater for more women, because like when you're at capacity of one-on-one coaching, there's so much you can do. And I absolutely hate turning people away from coaching, because I'm like, I want to take everyone. I want everyone to be my friend. I want, to help as many people as possible. But again, we need to protect our energy as well. And if I take too much too soon, you burn out. And you know what it's like when you do one-on-one coaching in person as well. Like, there's a time and there's a limit where you can do that. So yeah, at the moment I'm looking at other ways to cater to more women, but in various ways of coaching.
Yeah, and I can kind of see, if I'm reading behind the lines of what you're sort of posting and what you're putting out there, you can see the education that you're doing, and moving into looking at sort of feminine energy and just different aspects of health and mental health and things like that. I can sort of see that that's going to be part of your coaching style, which is really unique to your business, and really cool that you're just developing yourself and growing your business in other ways that isn't just about our physical body.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, you're on the ball of that. I'm not hiding it very well, am I? I'm trying to like keep it on the download, but like everyone can sense something happening. Yeah. So you know what, like fitness and health is like, it's my thing. Like, and as much as it's yours, like love to lift, love to train, but there's so much out there for us as well. And the lifting side of thing, or the training side of thing, it's one aspect of what we do. And I truly believe there's so many other things that I can provide other women to just help them feel more balanced as a whole, including the training, but also focusing on other areas.
Yeah, awesome. I'm excited for you. You've got some really exciting things coming up and really juicy projects. And yeah, it's when you see someone who's so passionate about what they do and just wants to keep growing and learning, it's exciting. I'm pumped to see what you have coming up.
Thank you. I'm so excited too. I can't wait. So good. Okay, enough about me. Let's talk about you, babe.
Okay.
So tell our listeners how you became a PT.
Yeah. So I'm from Tasmania. I moved to Melbourne about 4 or 5 years ago now. And initially I moved here because I graduated university with a business degree, and I got a grad job in Coles in the head office. And you know what? It was awesome pay. I thought that's what I wanted to be doing. And it was such a great opportunity. But after a year and a half, I was like, fuck this. I wanted to be working with people. I wanted to be helping people. It just didn't align with my values. And I knew that there was something missing. I wasn't living this passionate, purposeful life that I just have in me. So I first started at KR health clubs in the city, and I actually worked in sales to begin with as well, so very similar to you. And then I did my certificates, and like you as well, started off doing group fitness, which is a really good opportunity for new personal trainers in the industry, because you get in front of so many different demographics, so many different people moving in so many different ways, and it really allows you to I guess coach a variety of people. So one, you can work out who you really enjoy working with, and different people need different things, right? So it you can implement a lot of different coaching styles and things like that. So I did group fitness, and then I started training for a powerlifting competition. So I had never done powerlifting before, but I had been strength training for years. And I was kind of strong. I mean, I was strong. And I got approached in the gym, and this guy said, you know what, you're actually really strong. You should do a competition. And I was like, what's powerlifting? Like, I didn't even know it was a sport. It wasn't really that big on Instagram or anything like that at the time. But I was like, you know what, why not? Like, I love just trying new things. So I prepared for a competition. It was the Victorian State Championships, 2019, I think, or 2018. And anyway, I won that competition, and I was like, cool. I was like, maybe I'm not too bad at this. But there were no female coaches. It was very male dominated, and not many female
super
male
dominated.
Exactly. And very big men with like lots of tattoos and beards, and which is cool.
Beards, yes.
And like, they're all my mates, and like, they're not scary, but they look very intimidating. So it's not typically a space where women felt comfortable at that time being involved in. So after the state championships was nationals, which was my second competition, and I ended up winning nationals. And I was
That's amazing.
Oh. Yeah, I was like, okay. I was like, maybe I'm not too bad at this sport. And I was like, you know what? This is probably the first time in my life where I haven't been so focused on losing weight, getting as small as possible. I wasn't punishing myself in the gym. I wasn't doing hours of cardio. I was just training 4 days a week, heavy weights. And I felt fucking awesome. And I was like, man, like, if more women had performance goals and trained because they wanted to feel strong, like, they would just feel so much better and so much more empowered.
Yeah.
So I started my first 6-week program, and I launched my business, Girls Who Lift. And initially it was 6 weeks, learn how to lift weights, learn how to squat, bench, and deadlift. And then that sold out the first round. I was like, cool. I was like, okay, women want to be strong. Like, yes.
Yes, we do.
I'm into this. I love it. And then, I ran, I think 3 or 4 workshops, or 6-week workshops back to back. And then the same girls kept joining. They kept getting stronger. More and more girls started getting involved. And from there, I have teams competing, all over Australia. I have girls who are, squatting 140 kilos, deadlifting over 150 kilos. Like, they've just gotten wildly strong. And I'm like, their physiques have changed in a really positive way, because they're really strong and they're probably like leaner than they have been before. But that was never the emphasis when they first started, training for a powerlifting comp. So I'm clearly very passionate about powerlifting, but
love it. Love everything about it.
Yeah, like, more so because of the change of mindset.
Yeah.
So now I run my business, Girls Who Lift. So it is a strength and powerlifting coaching business for women. And I coach women all over the world in powerlifting, but also in strength training. And I'm just trying to get as many women as strong as possible.
Yes.
And just changing the sport and changing the game. And now we're like one of the biggest teams that come to competitions, female only. We're in pink. We have our scrunchies. We have our glitter. And we're like, you know what? We're just going to bring this like strong, badass, feminine vibe into this sport, and just, have fun.
Fuck yes. I love everything about that. You mentioned the pink style. I don't know, for some reason, I don't know how old you are, but have you ever seen the movie Grease, Lightning?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
With the girls and they wear the jackets. Yes, that's what I can imagine right now. The pink jackets rocking into a comp and be like, hey, I'm here. And then you're like deadlifting like 100 kilos for like reps and people are like, whoa, who is she? I want to be her.
It's so good. Like we literally rock up to competitions and everyone's like, who are these girls? Like all just dressed, you know, in pink and so just friendly and bubbly, and we just have fun. Like
that's what it's about. It's 100%. Having fun.
Exactly. And we see that, you know, with your crew and your community, they're just having fun. Lifting weights should be fun. It should be empowering. It should make you feel good. And that's really evident as well in what you're doing.
I love how both of us have really similar emphasis on training. Like, yes, you're more towards like the powerlifting side of things, you know, the girls who lift. Mine is strength focus in training, not so much the powerlifting and competing, but the ladies' strength department, there's an emphasis there around like a woman being strong, being empowered, not just focusing, as you mentioned, about losing weight or having to worry about what to look in a bikini. And I think I truly think we're changing the world.
100%. And like, how amazing is it when you have a client who finally doesn't just have a fat loss goal? And I'm sure you get this, right? And it takes time. They might turn around to you and say, you know what, Siggy? I really just want to get strong because it makes me feel good. Like as a coach, how does that make you feel?
Oh, I fucking love it.
It's the best, right? It's why we do what we do. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what, like every time I have a new client come on board, I always ask them like, what is the goal? And 9 out of 10, it's mainly fat loss. But then as you transition through those weeks or months, they end up coming back and be like, hey, listen, I actually don't want to like lose weight anymore. I just want to focus on my gym lifts. Like I've just realized how much I like squatting or how much I like benching. When a girl tells me she loves benches, I swear, oh yes, exactly. Hands up in the air. I like do a little dance and I'm like, yes, you want to get strong. Like I love everything about that. So yeah, you know what, like, again, there's nothing wrong about you wanting to diet and do a fat loss phase, but there's a time and place for it. And
100%.
As Alex said, if you're constantly, you know, focusing on just one thing, it's just going to put stress. So why not focus on like the strength, the performance, the fun stuff, and, you know, have more pleasure around that.
Absolutely. And back to benching, right? So with squats and deadlifts, you know, it is very attractive to women from an aesthetic perspective because, yes, you do grow your glutes, which is awesome. And having aesthetic goals, you know, we all want to look good. So that's cool. But when someone comes to you and wants to get strong with their bench, you realize, you know what, this girl, this lady, she wants to get strong. Because benching up until now has not been popular for women. It has been a thing that dudes do when they go to the gym. How much do you bench?
Chest day.
Yeah. Exactly.
Monday chest day.
Exactly. And just seeing so many girls benching now, it's awesome, right?
Yeah, I love everything about that. So empowering.
So empowering. And, you know, like Siggy said, having fat loss goals, there is nothing wrong with that. And there's a time and a place for that. But that time and place, it's not 365 days a year.
Yeah, so true. So true. I love that. How's your training going right now?
It's going good. So I'm not obviously posting a lot on Instagram, but it is going good. I'm feeling very strong. My next competition was meant to be in November, which was Wildcats at Pro Raw, but that's obviously been cancelled now. So my next one should hopefully be Breakthrough, which is going to be a massive competition in Sydney. Whether that goes ahead, who knows? But what I've said to myself and my team, you know, we need to keep training as if competitions are going ahead. This is our lifestyle. We're always in comp prep, you know, like we're always training, we're always progressing, we're always getting stronger. So yeah, I had a few, look, I'm not going to lie, during lockdown, I had a few weeks where I just felt tired, unmotivated, all those things. But yeah, I'm feeling good now. I've got some big, juicy numbers that I'm hitting in the next few months. So
nice.
stay tuned.
So for those who don't know, Alex is a very, very strong woman. Like, not just like your every like average girl, but she's just like extraordinary. Every time you put a lift up on your Instagram, I'm just like, whoa, like, oh my God, like this girl can move some weight.
Yeah, thank you. It's yeah, sometimes you forget, right? Because you're always comparing yourself, which is very bad. You shouldn't compare yourself. But as an athlete, I am very competitive and I want to win. And that is why I compete. I don't want to come second. I want to come first. And that's just how it is, right? But you are always comparing yourself to people who are stronger than you. And there's so many women who are stronger than me, which is amazing. But you do need to take a step back sometimes and think, you know what, actually I am quite strong. But yeah, I'm always just thinking, you know, how can I get stronger?
Yeah, I love that. It's so
in
good.
the sport. Yeah. How's your training going?
It's good. It's good. Maintaining it at the moment. So I've actually been programming for myself since the start of the year, which has been really cool. I haven't programmed for myself in quite a while. Like I've always had coaches and I've loved it. But yeah, I don't know. I just had a moment to myself. I was just like, let's give it a go. See if I can keep myself accountable on my own. And you know what? It's been good. So at the start of the year, it was mainly strength focus, you know, training from home. And now we're heading more into like the strength hypertrophy style. So it's going well. I'm growing muscle. So people are noticing changes. So it's always
definitely
good.
And you as well. You're super strong.
Thank you.
How many years have you been lifting weights for, strength training for?
So properly lifting, I'd say, you know, in the last 5 years.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, but you know, like as I mentioned before, I've always been involved in sports and some form of activity from like a really young age.
Yeah, what sports did you play growing up?
God, what didn't I do? Seriously, I used to play soccer. I swam in high school. I did self-defense. I did dancing, ballet. Thanks, Mom.
Awesome.
Yeah, I dabbled in quite a bit. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, it's, you know, that a lot of people, they do play, a lot of people who are in our industry and who are really strong actually come from team sport growing up. I think like a lot of people actually don't realize the importance of learning movement when you were a child and when you're growing up playing soccer and, you know, swimming and things like that. All those things have helped you move really well as an adult and into your strength training as well.
Yeah. What sports did you do?
So I played soccer most of my life. So I was lucky enough to live and play overseas, which was cool.
That's awesome. When was that?
Pardon?
When was that?
So I lived in California for about a year in 2018. I lose track of all the years now.
I know. It's like, what day is it today? I have no idea.
Who knows? How old am I? I have no idea.
No idea.
Yeah, so that was awesome. And then I played a bit in China, which was cool. And then I actually got into MMA very briefly. I did one amateur fight, which was cool. Yeah, which was brutal actually. I take my hat off. I can imagine. Yeah, like they're animals. Yeah. Like when people say powerlifting's hard, I'm like, look, it is, but we are resting 15 minutes in between our sets and snacking on lollies, so it's not too hard. Yeah,
MMA, jiu-jitsu, like crazy sport, crazy.
Yeah, I take my hat off to them. So yeah, I think playing sport growing up has really allowed me to utilize those skills in my coaching now. Because you'll probably find as well, and any listeners who are maybe coming into the industry, you will find people haven't played sport growing up and probably spend a lot of time at their desk who really struggle connecting their mind muscle connection. Yeah. How do you, when you have a client like that, what's your approach?
Easygoing. Very, very easygoing. So when I first started personal training, you know, I didn't have that understanding of why, you know, Sally couldn't squat properly, you know, because in my eyes, I was like, oh, everyone can squat. I can squat, they can squat. But yes, some people just don't have that perception of that muscle mind connection. So yeah, you literally have to break it down into basics. So, you know, let's say if she couldn't squat full depth, you start her on a box. Or from the box, if she can't do it on the box, I'll get her to hold a dowel rod and go down onto the box and squat. Small movements like that, but even a lot of unilateral work, so single leg work for them to start building more of that, you know, proprioception around the muscles they're working. I love isometric holds, just, you know, holding that position for a really long time, whether it's like 10 seconds, 30 seconds, just for them to start building that momentum. You know, for some people, it can take 2 weeks for them to learn that. For some people, it can take months.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess, being able to identify what that person needs as well comes with experience as a coach, and, you know, learning different personalities as well, which you don't get taught, how to coach people with different personalities, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah. So funny you mentioned that. I remember years ago, I think, was it one of the studios, or maybe it was at Good Life, I can't remember, but someone mentioned the oh my God, what's that test called? I can't think of it now.
The Myers-Briggs?
No. There was another one. The Braverman test. Is that? I think it's what it's called. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it was this personality test. I used to give it to clients of mine, and some clients would return back to me and be like the polar opposite to me. And I'm like, I can't work with them. They're not going to comprehend how I do certain things. You know, it's like, you know, some type A clients wouldn't really gel with me because sometimes I'll be too easy flow, and they're like, no, we need structure. I need to do X, Y, and Z. So, but yeah, it's very important to understand people's behaviors and psychology. And again, they don't teach much of that in the fitness industry. So I guess it comes down to us doing more research around that independently, or seeking out to other professionals about them.
Yeah, it's super interesting. What's some tactics that you use with different personalities? So for example, you have someone who wants to lose weight quickly. She doesn't quite understand the process. Maybe she's been a chronic, you know, dieter for the last 20 years. Her metabolism is not in a good place. Where do you go there when someone's really desperate, for example, to lose weight? As a coach, what's the psychology behind your coaching style with a client like that?
So some will say I'm very blunt at times, but very comforting as well, to make the client understand that their current situation isn't bringing them any success, and they're just going to fall into this like massive black hole and never be able to get out of there. And that, again, that can cause them a lot of hormonal issues or thyroid issues, whatever it is. So yeah, in my experience, it's being honest with that client to be like, cool, you want to lose weight, but you've been trying to lose weight for 10 years. How's that working out for you? Have you been losing weight? No. Cool. Are you happy doing something different? Are we happy to experiment with a different way? I don't usually tell people what to do. I have more of an open conversation. Yeah. So giving them the option to decide. And you know what? Most of the time they realize in the end of the conversation of how I explain things that they're like, oh, whatever I haven't been doing actually has not been working. So yes, I'm more open-minded to try this for the first 2 weeks and see how it goes, or give it another month. And once you slightly, you know, sometimes they need like a little bit of hand holding along the way, and for them to just realize that, you know, whatever you're doing right now isn't necessarily working. So let's pivot it and try something different.
Yeah, totally. I think anyone who's listening who is new in the industry, that's such an important thing to understand. Just being able to change your coaching style depending on the person and what they've been through, because we're all unique, and we all come from those unique experiences. And yeah, definitely.
How would you deal with that?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So we've been talking a lot. I run workshops for my team. And we've been talking a lot about dieting and nutrition lately. That's been one of our topics that we've been covering. So everyone is in different stages. I think the biggest thing I do as a coach is just to be able to educate my team on the fact that, you know, when we diet, when we go through that diet phase, we want to get in and get out as quick as we can. And we don't want that to be the majority of the year at all. We want to be, you know, always in a slight surplus, building muscle, getting stronger. And then when our body's right and our metabolism is at a point where we can have a fat loss phase, that's when we're going to choose to do it. However, in an ideal world, a lot of people, they don't want to, or they struggle being on a surplus for a period of time because they hear the word surplus and they think, shit, that's weight gain, that's fat gain, I'm going to put on 10 kilos. So my job is to say, no, you know what? You've been dieting for X amount of years. You're not losing weight. You're on 1,500 calories. There is no way I'm going to drop you any lower, even though 1,500 calories, I probably wouldn't put you on that to begin with because it's super low. But I'm going to make sure that you are taking, if they're doing nutrition with me, all their measurements weekly. I have all this data. You're not going to put on a bunch of weight per week because we're going to assess it on a weekly basis, right? And then they're like, you know what? Suddenly they're eating 2,000 plus calories. They haven't put on a bunch of weight. They feel good. They've got their periods back. Their skin's looking amazing. They're strong as fuck in the gym. And I guess you do have to hold some people's hands, right?
Yeah.
And educate them along the way.
Yeah, those who need a little bit of hand holding can come from past experiences, you know, from whether it's previous coaches, you know, like we all start from somewhere. And you know what, when I first started in the industry, you get sold this idea that everyone needs to be on 1,200 calories. You don't. Yeah, like 1,200 calories is the amount of food a baby needs. So for those who are listening, if you're eating right now 1,200 calories, think of a newborn child. That's what they need to eat a day. So you're a grown-ass woman, so you'll need more of that. So yeah, it comes down to behaviors, past experiences. It could, you know, like if we're diving deeper into the psychology of it, it could be from like family history, you know, if your mum has always dieted, if she doesn't look at food as pleasure, she looks at it as punishment, and she exercises religiously because of it, guess what? You're gonna like get those habits as well, and you're gonna do it more often.
Yeah, that's so true. And being in the space that we're in now, we can educate women that that's not the way it has to be. And you can feel good and you can still have the body of your dreams, whatever that is, by eating food.
Yeah.
And moving.
Food is amazing.
Food is the best. Food is my hobby.
Yeah. Food is life.
100%. And, you know, it's super exciting when you are new in the industry as a PT or as a coach, and especially if you are going to work with women, like we have the ability to change the world and to change generations as well. Because, you know, like you mentioned, your mum is a chronic dieter. She's exercising. Her child, her daughter is going to look at that and emulate that behavior. You know, imagine if that mum then came to you as a client, right? You educated her younger daughter is now going to be educated as well. So it's like this funnel of just empowering women and, you know, getting out of that cycle that we have to always be dieting, and that always has to be our number one goal.
Yeah, it's so true. And it kind of like it makes me sad sometimes, because I do work with older women as well, you know, past the 30, 40, 50 mark. And unfortunately, they still sit in this like diet mentality of them having to slash calories to lose weight. And again, that's because of years of misinformation ingrained from, well, they didn't have social media at the time, but magazines, you know, like television. So yeah, it's tough, but change is possible. You just need to continue pushing through the noise and just keep in your lane and do it.
100%. And that's why I love, you know, the Women's Fitness Academy and all the other courses that are coming out right now that are so much more informative and really just actually educating people on the real shit that matters, right? And the things that they can implement so they can pass that education on to their clients in the future.
Totally. Education is power. Education 100%. Is power, but also integrating it is powerful, because yes, we can learn as much as possible, but if you don't put it into practice and embody it, by you stopping dieting and pushing towards more strength and performance, then that's you're not getting any use of the education. So again, it takes two. I don't know why I'm saying two to tango. It came up to my mind, but like, I guess, with education and then doing it yourself, that's when you start seeing those results.
Definitely. And I think being in the mindset that we're in now, where we understand food and we understand movement and how to live a really good life where you can enjoy food, I think you have to go through challenges yourself, and you have to go through periods of time where it wasn't like that in order to have the empathy that we both have and the understanding that we have of people who are currently in that cycle. So if you don't mind sharing, have you been through maybe a really hard time with body image, or maybe you were just a little bit uneducated on food?
Oh my God, I have so many stories.
And that's why you're the coach that you are, and you can relate to it.
You know what? And that's how you become a really good coach, because from your experiences, you're able to resonate with your clients. You're able to empathize with them. And you know what? That's the beauty about us women, being able to empathize more with other women. Male coaches, they're amazing, but again, they don't have that sense of connection as a woman that, you and I have. So, you know what, from a really young age, I'd say maybe like from like my teens, when I started like partying a lot. Yeah, I know, right? Partying. Well, I was a massive party.
Really? So was I.
Oh my God. Yeah, I love the booze. I love the other stuff. But yeah, anyway, let's not go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, I had a fair bit of body issues. I compared myself to other women. I never thought I was small enough. I used to, this is so sad, like just thinking about this right now. I used to look at myself in the mirror and pull both of my thighs together. And if there was no gap in between my thighs, I wouldn't eat for that day.
It's crazy that thigh gap thing blew up so much, right?
Yeah. I used to try and cheat the system and like push my bum back, because if you push it back, it like opens the gap a little bit, and I'll be like, yes, I can eat today. But in reality, it was just like, I'm just cheating the system or whatever I was following back then. I had a really, not toxic. Well, yeah, I guess it was toxic relationship with food. So I would eat, clean, whatever that means, Monday to Friday, but then the weekend will come and I would binge hardcore.
Yeah.
Like crazy amounts of food, because I restricted myself throughout the whole week. I was doing these intermittent fastings or these stupid juice cleanses, or like, oh my God, lemon detox. Have you heard of that before?
Oh, you're giving me all these flashbacks from like 8 years ago. Yeah.
Lemon detox used to be my thing. Like every month or 2 months, if I felt like fat or bloated, I'd be like, I'll just call my girl and be like, I need some like lemon detox juice and blah blah, and she'd like send it over. Oh my God.
Wow.
Just thinking of it, it's crazy. So for those who don't know, lemon detox is pretty much like this formula of tea that you just drink, and guess what, you literally just fucking go to the toilet and let it all out. So it's no magic. It's not a proper way of losing weight, girls. Please don't do that. But yeah, my relationship was bad. Yeah.
And then how did you get out of that?
So you know what? I think now that I'm, thinking more about it, I didn't properly get out of it till I became a coach myself. And the first 1 or 2 years, I realized the patterns that were happening in my lives, because I was seeing it in my clients. And I was just like, this is really weird. Like Joe is suffering from X, Y, and Z. It's just like, wow, this is weird because I'm doing the same thing right now. This is not okay. So by seeing their habits or the way they behave around food, you could resonate really well with that. And that's when I started seeking out help. That's when I started going to seeing an eating psychologist around that and having a better understanding of why this is happening. And you know what? The deeper I dove into it, I realized it had nothing to do with food. Absolutely nothing. I was hiding or avoiding something completely different, but I was just using food as a mechanism.
Yeah, totally. And you can see it, you being so compassionate, empathetic, and giving to your clients, that there's always a story behind that. And it's often a lot deeper than food itself. And for you to be able to resonate with your clients and understand where they're coming from, I think it's such an important point to know when you do have clients who have quotation issues with food or challenges with food, whatever you want to say it, 9 times out of the 10, it's not the food. There's something deeper going on. And you know what? It's not our job to identify that, but it is our job to recommend, extra help, whether that's a food psychologist or a therapist or someone else in their area of expertise when we do come across those clients.
Yeah, and that's the beauty about our jobs as well. We're able to refer out our clients to other professionals to, help and integrate some form of a plan for them to get them out of this, self-sabotaging loop.
Yeah, totally. You're spot on. And you'll see that all the time in the industry. And, I think you 100% hit the nail on the head. I think for me, in terms of food, I guess we're probably similar ages, right? So growing up, our role models, or the people in the media were, your Paris Hiltons or, your really tall, skinny blonde girls.
Victoria's Secret models.
Exactly. They were the goals, and there weren't any other body types out there. And, I'm Greek, and, I love food, and I'm very family oriented, and I was always very into sport, and I always did hold quite a lot of muscle as well. I didn't look like them, so I thought, I always did view myself as a lot bigger than I probably was. So yeah, for me, having that performance goal is super important. And I think that's where my relationship with food really changed, because I was like, you know what? I need to eat a lot of food. If I'm going to squat 200 kilos, I need to be on like 3,000 calories for a long period of time. Like, squatting 200 kilos is so much more important to me than being shredded as fuck. Like, you can be shredded. That's cool. But is that going to make you happy? Like, is that achieving anything? Life is so short. Like, I want to achieve cool things, and I want to provide the pathway for other women to achieve really cool things in their life that isn't just revolving around the way they look. So yeah, for me, performance goals was super important, and having a community. I think community is very important. And in the online space, it can be more challenging. You mentioned that your online clients, a lot of them were previous face-to-face clients.
Yeah.
Did they know each other before? Did you do group training? Like, how does your...
No, they didn't know each other till I placed them in the group. But now with the community, similar to what you do on a weekly basis, we all just catch up, have
love that.
Good chats, banter, or I'll present a certain educational topic, and everyone just gets a chance just to get one another, even though it's not in person. Like, I can't wait for the day that we can all just meet again together. Like, I know with your group meetings, you've done it in person as well.
Yeah, so we compete as a team. So I'll have like anywhere between like 5 to 20 girls competing in a competition together, which is awesome. So I'll have my online clients as well as, the girls that train face-to-face with me. And then we do our, weekly or fortnightly team catch-ups online. I think if you are a coach coming into the industry, your community is super important. That is all part of it. We are trying to help people, whether it's women or men, whoever, your demographic is, become the healthiest version of them. And that community aspect is so important. I think that's something that a lot of people lack. And, you know, when I first started Girls Who Lift, I was going through a really hard time. You know, I lost one of my best friends, and I thought, you know what, if she had a strong community around her, you know, she would probably still be here, right? So that's where my kind of passion for the team aspect came from. And I think that's really important coming into the industry, coming out of lockdown and where we are at the moment. You know, that's probably something that does get a little bit pushed to the side. We're here to run a business. We're here to make money. Cool. Yep, that's great. But we're here to fucking help people.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's something that not many people speak about. And you know what, as humans, that's our intention of life. We want to be connected with other people. Yeah, that's, you know, especially with these certain circumstances, some of us feel very fucking isolated. So to be able to connect other people together, even if it's just a 5-minute conversation, like it makes such a big difference.
100%. It's like you mentioned, especially right now. You know, whether you are a coach or a PT or whatever, put that all aside. Whether you're living in Melbourne or Victoria, New South Wales, if you're in a lockdown state or not, it's really super important to this is kind of off topic, but to reach out, whether that's you know, online or face-to-face or whatever it is. Community is very important, which has been very evident over the last, you know, year and a half since we've had these lockdowns on and off.
So for our listeners, the one takeaway from today, I would definitely look at what your systems are right now as a personal trainer or an online coach and see how you can add a little bit more value to your clients. It doesn't have to be drastic, just something very small, you know, maybe it's a weekly check-in call with everyone for like 15 minutes, or maybe it's a fortnightly, you know, webinar, like whatever, like making it fun, and see, you know, whether your clients are wanting more of that or not. And I truly believe they do. A lot of clients love this kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's just, it is adding more value to what you can provide to your community as well. Is there anything else you would like to share? I know we've gone a little bit off topic and it's kind of like a get to know us podcast, and we've gone into some very deep conversations, which has been amazing.
I love it.
I love it. I feel like we could talk for 5 hours.
Seriously.
But is there anything else that you want to share about yourself, or I guess what message like do you have for up and coming personal trainers? What is the one piece of advice that you would give them?
I would invest in yourself. Yeah, definitely invest in yourself. Find something that you enjoy and do more of it. So whether it's strength training, whether it's nutrition, whether it's, I don't know, hormones, like, you know, dive deeper into the education side of things and find something that truly like lights your fucking life up. Because if you don't love it, people are going to sense it. You want to do something that you're passionate and that you'll be able to help other people relate to it. So yeah, invest in yourself and do the stuff that you love doing.
Yeah, totally. I think that's such good advice. I couldn't agree more. I think continuing your education once you finish your certificates is super important. And I would also add just a community aspect, you know, even if you are just taking those one-on-one sessions, build a community. That's what people want. And I think right now it's really important. Yeah,
totally. I love that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for everyone who has come along on our conversation. Thank you so much for coming on as well. It's so nice to finally have a chat with you face to face or over Zoom.
I know, it's so good.
I'm sure I'll see you soon, and then hopefully once we're out of lockdown, we'll catch up properly and we'll get a session in.
Totally. Until next time, girls. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.